Hi! So today we're going to be making some Kongs for Blake. That way he can have them after his hike or if I have to go somewhere. Instead of him getting anxious that I'm gone, he just focuses on that. And actually, us leaving is almost like a reward for him because he gets this Kong treat but when we go. So obviously, you're going to need a Kong. Now Blake is a medium-sized dog, so this is a good size for him. Depending on your dog, you're probably going to need either something bigger or something small. Here I have some frozen berries that we're going to have to use up, as well as some apple that I'm just going to chop up. And then I have peanut butter, and I have this pure pumpkin puree. So let's get started. And then anything that won't fit in the Kong, we're just going to put into these molds, and these will become individual dog treats that he can have when we're home. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to actually start with slicing up my apple just because it'll probably take up the most amount of awkward space in the Kong just with the shape of it. And I want to make sure that I don't put any seed for him to chew on, because again, the idea about these Kongs is he's going to have this when we're not around. So we want to make it as safe for him as possible. So I'm just going to take this and chop it up pretty small. And with our dog, he has had Kongs since he was a puppy. So he's very familiar and very comfortable with them. He likes the puzzle that they offer. So once we've actually stuffed them, we freeze it. So it's a bit harder for him. If your dog is not quite used to Kongs, you kind of have to build them up for it, only because what could happen is they can get frustrated if you go right to the freezer, I've been told, just because it's not that instant satisfaction or gratification. You have to work quite a bit for it. So just something to keep in mind if you've never done a Kong before, kind of work their way in the challenges. And the other thing that I really like about these Kongs is you could stuff them however you really want to with anything that's dog friendly. In the past, I have frozen like little bits of like sardines or salmon or tuna or something like that and put them in the Kongs, and they worked really well. Unfortunately, right now we are going through a diet trial just because we're trying to figure out what our puppy is allergic to. So we haven't been able to give any of those kinds of proteins, so that's why this is mostly just fruit and peanut butter. But yeah, there's all kinds of options for what you can put in the Kong. So I think these are a pretty decently sized cut. I'll just show you here really quick. So not too big, not too small. And again, he's a medium-sized dog, and he's not a fast-eating, chewing dog either. He takes his time quite a bit, which is good. So this is a good size for him. Definitely, if you're trying to introduce your dogs to a Kong and stuffing it, don't let them have it on their own right away. Just watch and see. That way you have a better idea if they are like really aggressively trying to chew the food. A good safe size to put in there so they don't choke. Okay, so we got our bits of apple in there, and then we got our berries. I'm actually gonna save the bigger berries for the very end, like this is a strawberry. So that way when I finish with the Kong, I'm gonna use those berries to like lock everything in, so that way nothing comes out as it's trying to freeze. So now we have our peanut butter. This peanut butter has only dry roasted peanuts in it, so it's very safe for dogs. You can get this at the grocery store. All of this is at the grocery store. And if you look, we are almost out of peanut butter, which is great. So what I would then do is actually put some water in here, or I have a can of pumpkin I'm going to be using as Kong, and I might actually mix everything in here. That way I'm getting as much of that peanut as possible, the peanut butter. And with the peanut water, if I were to go that way, I can make little frozen flavor bombs, I call them. So you can add them into their kibble or their water, and it's hydrating because it's water infused with the peanuts or the peanut butter. So that's another option you can do. I also find it helps because he has like one of those puzzle feeders. It helps things to really stick to the puzzle feeder, so he has to work longer and harder to get the stuff out, which is good because we like our puppy to be tired. He's a high energy dog, and it takes a lot of energy out of us to get him there. Okay, so now we got our pumpkin. Again, this is just 100% pure pumpkin. There's no pumpkin pie filling ingredients, which is good. You don't want to add any extra salts or sugars or anything like that into your Kong. And we're now gonna scoop the pumpkin puree into our bowl here with everything else. And that should be all that I'm doing in our Kongs today. Depending on how chunky it is, I might add a bit more pumpkin to it because there's quite a bit of apple in there. But I kind of like mixing it up with all the different sort of produce in here, just because it's almost like a little surprise, or it's different with every lick and every bite, which I think is what he really likes. Now that being said, with dogs, their tummies are pretty sensitive, and these are things he's had since he's a puppy, so he's pretty accustomed to it. But definitely, if you're going to introduce any kind of new ingredient into your dog's diet, do it very gradually, slowly, a little bit at a time, and you watch them the first time to make sure that they don't get uncomfortable or an upset tummy from it. But yeah, so we have a pretty thick, good mixture and consistency with everything. And so now I am just going to start loading up our Kongs with this. So the next part is I'm actually going to put a little dollop of peanut butter at this smaller hole here to make sure that nothing falls through on the other side. And I'm just honestly going to use my finger for this. He has his own peanut butter because we typically deal with so many different doggy products. So, and it's an empty jar anyway, so it's fine. I'm going to start filling it up with this pumpkin mixture. And I find this spoon works the best in terms of stuffing. Just make sure you really get everything in there. We have 3 Kongs here. I kind of like to keep 3 at the ready in the freezer, just in case, again, emergency, you have to run out and leave the dog behind. You can have a little Kong. Or he likes to go on big group hikes a couple days a week. And after that, because he's burnt a lot of energy and calories in that, playing with the dogs and running around, his dog walker will give him a Kong as well. So this is just like a nice little snack. And you just fill it right up to the top. If you're not sure, maybe you got some bits kind of hanging out in the middle, it's not getting to the bottom, just give it a little love tap. You can even use your spoon to help push things down if need be, but I'm pretty sure this is all filled up because it's not really going anywhere with this love tap. So I'm going to say this one's done. Just going to clean it up a little bit because I got pumpkin filling all over. We have our Kong all stuffed, and I'm just putting those big berries we were saving the very end, so it's almost like a plug. And now you can see it is completely full because it's now trying to escape through that tiny bottom hole. So this Kong is all done. I'm just trying to wipe off some of that excess there so we have it for our other things. I'm gonna now pop this guy in the freezer, and then we're gonna repeat that process with the other 2 Kongs. So I'll see you once I've done that. Okay, so our Kongs are now in the freezer. They're just gonna solidify, and then I'll show you what the final product looks like after. And in our bowl, we have just a little bit of that mixture that we made. So instead of wasting it or giving it all to doggy right now, like I mentioned, this is an empty jar and it's just extra peanut butter in there. And we didn't use a whole lot of our pumpkin. So what I'm now gonna do is use these ingredients that I have left and fill up these silicone ice cube molds with it. And again, these are his little at-home dog treats that we give him. And it just keeps us from having to waste any food. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some water to this jar of peanut butter. And then I'm also gonna be adding some scoops of the pumpkin puree. And that'll be its own kind of treat. We'll have some of the ice cube mixtures filled with this mixture, which had other things in there as well. And depending on the amount of space we have, the pumpkin will have its own ice cube mold. So about half of this jar of peanut butter is warm water, just to kind of help get it off the sides. And now I'm just gonna add a good dollop of this pumpkin puree, maybe 2, just to help use it up. Don't really want to touch the jar, so I do plan on getting more pumpkin puree out of the can. Okay. So, I'm going to throw the lid on, and we're going to shake it. So if you have a dog, maybe they're picky or they don't like to drink a lot of plain water, I find with Blake, when he was teething and that, he wasn't a big water fan. This really helped get him hydrated because it's flavored. And the pumpkin's good for their tummies. Yep, so it's a bit more, oops, already in the tray. It's a bit more mixed in there. I'm already filling a tray. So we're gonna start divvying up this content among the ice cube trays, and then we're also gonna be dumping whatever is left of the mixture as well as the pumpkin puree. So I'll show you what that looks like after. All right, and here is all of our little extra frozen treats that we've made with the mixture and just the pumpkin as well. So all of this is gonna go in the freezer. And then these are those water flavor bombs I was telling you about. So I can put these in his water dish and it'll just help add some flavor and help keep him hydrated. Add it to his kibble. Or the other thing I like to do with it is actually put it on his lick mat. So that way, once it starts to melt, it will actually kind of entice him to want to lick it up because it's something different from what it was previously on it. But that's everything that we've done today. I'm going to show you the Kongs here, and that'll be it. I hope you enjoyed this video and that maybe you and your dog can try the world of Kongs and try different recipes and stuff them. Maybe comment below what you did and we'll try it too. Bye! You sit. Good boy, stay. Okay.